Stuart finally stood and stopped his brother and father from pacing. Big Brother is likely correct, but either way, I wouldn't be surprised if he could vanquish 100 warriors of my level at once, even with all the might of House Raven bearing down upon him. I doubt they'll stand a chance. What do you mean, my son? Could you truly believe that Nathan is that powerful? I mean, to take down Rodric is one thing, but to take on the entirety of House Raven is another. Just remember, Father, after Rodric faced off against Nathan during the banquet, Hagar Haraldson did not hesitate to move to Nathan's aid, even though they had previously been adversaries. Doesn't that mean something? After all, Hagar Haraldson's no fool. He must be able to see the real depths of Nathan's potential. The High Lord Lightstone stroked his beard as his gaze returned to his sleeping wife. How curious. Perhaps the heavens really have sent the winds of change to alter the course of Godric's land forever. Inside Duke Godricson's keep, Rodric Godricson cut through an ornate table and chair with his sword blade, sending priceless teacups shattering to the floor. Since he'd arrived home earlier that day, he'd fumed over what had happened at the banquet and took out his frustrations on the furniture in his private quarters. That low-born bastard! I'll cut his smug face off and see how confident he is then. The tapestries that lined the walls of his room were withered and ragged from a countless number of sword strikes, as were the cushions, chests, armoires, and king-sized mattresses. The Duke's grandson wrecked his room with a careless fury that only the most spoiled of noble children could consider. After all, once he had calmed down, a large team of servants would undoubtedly move through the space and replace everything immediately. By nightfall, it would be as if it had never happened. Slowly, Rodric's path of destruction began to falter, as there was nothing left to hack at, so he caught his breath and casually discarded his jewel-encrusted sword. He shouted at the ceiling as he kicked a shattered porcelain mug away from him. Heavens damn them all! What the hell was with that Doom faction deputy anyways? How dare he side with a filthy country noble over me? He must be some sort of distant relative or something. The front door opened slightly, and a butler peeked his head inside the room to give the wild youth a few calming words of counsel. Your Grace, please understand that your theory is impossible. You know as well as any that Doom faction officers are only assigned to fiefdoms where they have no relations or biases. It was simply bad luck, that was all. The butler braced behind the door as Rodric threw a piece of shattered pottery at him. How dare you speak to me so out of turn? Of course I know that it's impossible, but somehow that deputy's got it out for me. Yes, of course, Your Grace. You know best. If you wish to continue on, I shall take my leave. As the butler prepared to close the door to the room, Rodric held up a hand. A sinister idea formed in his head as his lips curled up into a sneer. Wait. Before you go, call my men in from outside the door. Yes, sire. The butler shut the door, and a few seconds later the door reopened. Two of Rodric's fully armed bodyguards from the banquet entered the room and knelt before their master. The larger of the two men nodded his head. You called for us, Your Grace? Yes, Sir Gideon. I have a task for you. Tonight, I'd like for you to sneak into the Hayfield's family quarters and kidnap Lady Amelia Hayfield. We'll see if Sir Ian still wishes to break off his arrangement with my aunt after he hears I've got his true love at the edge of my blade. Yes, Your Grace, it will be done. Would you wish for me to punish the cocky Hayfield boy as well? There's no need to trouble yourself with that, Sir Gideon. The High Lord Raven wishes to deal with the matter himself in the public challenge soon enough. As you wish, my lord. Rodrik turned to his other bodyguard and bit his lip excitedly. "As for you, Sir Toby, you'll accompany me to the High Lord Raven's family compound at once. I wish to ensure he has everything he needs to wipe the Hayfield name off the face of the earth." The moon was high in the sky when Nathan finally awoke from a deep sleep. He'd been utterly exhausted after his attempt to lift Lady Cecilia's curse, and had spent many hours resting when he returned from House Lightstone's mansion. Unable to fall back asleep, Nathan sat up in bed and parched his thirst with a cup of cold water. His mind raced as he remembered that tomorrow morning was the day of House Hayfield's challenge duel against House Raven, the final event of the aristocracy examination. "Relax. Just do as you've done in your training, and it will all go fine." Nathan sighed and threw on a tunic as he got out of bed. He opened a door and went out on his room's balcony to get some fresh air. He did his best to focus on all that he was thankful for, as he prayed to the heavens before the many stars of the night's sky. With every breath in, he thought of how lucky he was to have a family worthy of protecting, and with every breath out, he expelled the toxic thoughts of his enemies from his mind. Suddenly, he cut one of his deep breaths in short. He'd sensed something in the air. Immediately, he used his Asura Eye technique to scour out many miles into the darkness in every direction around him. His senses almost immediately detected the cause of his unease. A warrior, one of the knighted leaders of the Godricshall guards, was dressed in all black and moving through the rooftops of the city without his armor or identifying uniform. Nathan smirked as he realized the man was coming towards him, heading straight for the room beside him, his sister's room. They never do seem to learn now, do they? First the Clays, and now the Godricsons. How many more goons do I have to punish before they realize they best not come for me? Nathan swiftly moved back into his room and grabbed the Hayfield family broadsword from his nightstand. Nathan expertly unsheathed the blade and held it loosely by his side as he went back onto the balcony and then leaped up onto the roof of their hotel. As Sir Gideon came closer to the building, Nathan's senses were able to gauge the man's abilities and power level. Nathan stifled a chuckle as he waited, hidden on top of the roof. "Ha! A Master Level 1 spiritual warrior? What a joke! That rotten Rodric Godricson must be too afraid of his grandfather to even bother him to send a proper assassin. Instead, he sends one of his glorified bodyguards."
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.